Okay, our first action for the week is for our friends in the US, and this is an action that has been created and prepared for us by FOSNA. It went out in both FOSNA's newsletter last week and in our newsletter yesterday on Monday. And as Carla said, you can find the instructions and the link to this action in the chat and at the Kumi Now webpage. So I'm just going to briefly read through this first action whilst giving you time to pull it up on your own computer or phone and complete it. And then, as usual, just invite you to drop in the chat once you've completed the action, just so we can see our friends from the US who are doing this. So this letter was written by Reverend Alex Awad, who is pastor emeritus of East Jerusalem Baptist Church, and was composed in response to congressional leadership's invitation for the Israel Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, to speak before Congress. So Friends of Sabeel North America and Palestinian Christians Alliance for Peace invite you to adapt and share this letter to your own members of Congress based on the advocacy email toolkit that is here provided by FOSNA. And you can read through the full extent of the points that are in the draft letter and make sure you send that in, and then also invite anyone in the US to share this with others in your networks and in your church networks to amplify this call against the upcoming visit of Netanyahu to Congress. So I'm just going to give 1 minute and I'll leave this up so those of you who see it on the screen can read through some of the points. Those of you who are able to complete the action, once again, let us know in the chat once you've been able to complete this one. Thank you, Gretchen. Thank you, Miriam. Great to see you filling this out. Great, thank you, David. Those of you who don't have a congressperson or who don't find yourselves in the US, encourage you to use the general links that have been linked in the newsletter for resources to contact your representatives to continue our ongoing demands. I'm going to go ahead and move to our second action of the week while we're waiting for our speaker to join. And that is an action that, hello, sorry, Salim?
Yes. Sorry, so sorry to disturb you. So our guest is here. I had to give him my link. I had to give him my name link. أبو سيمون إذا بتغير اسمك من سليم عنفوس لاسمك إذا صعب it's fine.
Okay, we can change his name
Can you
also
change it for him?
be accurate. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we'll pause with the actions there and then complete the second action after the presentation. Thanks everyone for your flexibility.
Okay, thank you everyone for taking part in the action and for putting that on pause and waiting until the end. We'll now hear from our speaker. Youssef Eder was born in Jerusalem. He has 2 bachelor's degrees, one in philosophy and one in theology, and he has served as a tour guide since 1997. He's also the president of the Arab Tourist Guides Association from 2017 until now. So we'd like to turn it over to Youssef now. Thank you so much for what you will share with us today about tourism and pilgrimage.
يوسف اي معك، تفضل اذا بتحب تحكي معهم. اه he was just introducing you, Abu Simon, so the floor is all yours if you would like to share.
It seems the audio maybe he's unmuted, but we're unable to hear.
Strange. Lily, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I
Can
can
others hear
hear.
Yusuf?
I can hear Yusuf. That's strange. Why can no one hear him?
Can others hear Yusuf?
No, I don't hear him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't hear anything either.
Strange.
Yes, I can hear him. I can hear him well.
Joel.
ابو سيمون، غلبك تحكي، خلينا ابقى اشوف اتاكد اذا سامعينك ولا لا. Did anyone hear him now? أنا سامعك. It's so strange. So I could, some of us can hear him, some of us cannot.
I'm going to quickly mute him and then ask him to unmute again. Try this.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Unmute,
Stas.
Abu Simon. Try now, please. Can anyone hear him? That is super strange.
Lily, can you change the audio settings? I know when you play music, there's an audio setting that can be changed. I wonder if that would help.
أبو سيمون. لا، انت في عندك، اذا عند الميكروفون، انت لما كبست الميكروفون في السيتنج تبعها عند الميكروفون، كان في سيتنج اذا بتكبس عليه على اساس تشبك انت من ناحيه التليفون الجهاز نفسه. كبست. Okay. Lily, I would think probably if he could, yeah, I'm going to recommend if he signs out again, in again, and if you want to continue with the action plan, probably the call to actions, right? Okay.
Yeah,
He
we'll
just signed out.
move forward with that for now, and hopefully we can hear from Yusuf because I'm looking forward to his presentation. Okay, so I'm just gonna reshare my screen and continue with presenting our second action for the week, which is one that we just received today. So if you follow our newsletter, this was not in the action section yesterday, but it will be next week. But it is a time-sensitive manner, so we did want to go ahead and share it this week. So we received this from one of our partners who are advocating for a specific new building plan for a road that's going to be built in the area of Wadi Flokin. And we're asking you to sign on to this letter to address the Israeli civil administration as well as the Minister of Defense to stop for this bid to stop the proposed road. So Carla, yes. So Carla has just shared the link to this one in the chat. And as you pull that up, I'll just go through and read the overview and the summary of this issue. So on May 20th, 2024, a hearing was convened to receive objections regarding a proposed apartheid road, which would destroy 1,000 trees and confiscate farmland in the village of Wadi Fugan. Objections were presented by groups addressing environmental impacts of the proposed road on the village, as well as on procedural admission of consulting with the village during this process of review. So a number of organizations have signed on to this letter. I won't go through and read all of it for you. You can do that on your own time if it's interesting. But this is just one small, specific, very specific case that we can sign on to oppose these discriminatory practices that are, taking place. So once again, I invite you, if you're able to sign on to this, just indicate in the chat that you have done this. And the links that are at the bottom of the Google form page will take you to breaking the silence information on this issue, as well as a Beit Selman page on these road developments that continue the discrimination and apartheid here.
Simone? Can anyone hear him again? Very strange. Yeah, some people can hear him, some people cannot. That's so strange. This has never happened like this before.
I think it's to do with the mic. I couldn't get in earlier, and I could see the little earphones, but I couldn't hear because I don't have earphones. But then the second time I signed in, it was the mic, and I could hear. So I wonder if the people who can hear are the ones with the earphones.
I'm going to try, and I'm going to make Yusuf host and see if that makes a difference. So I'm going to give him control of this Zoom meeting just as another option to try.
Simone? نتأكد بس عشان غريبة في كتير ناس. في عندك لأغلبك مثلا سماعات إذا بتشبك ممكن أفضل ممكن يزبط. نجرب أغلبك. I just asked him if he has headphones and maybe a mic. Probably that will fix.
I'm registering that second Salim is speaking, but he was on mute.
Maybe Ustaz Yusuf, can you try again now that we've made you host? Unmute yourself and see if it will work.
I could hear him speak. It's very strange that some of us can and cannot hear him.
Can he try again since I've just made him host to see if that makes a difference?
So, Lily, what he's saying is he cannot hear you as well. I don't know. I'm sorry, guys, everyone. This is just it's literally the first time, and it just happened.
I don't even see his square. Maybe.
Okay, I'm gonna try to sign out. I don't know if that actually could happen, that we're both signing in from the same account, but that's one of the issues. So I'll probably sign out, and hopefully that will work. And if not, we'll figure it out. We're really sorry, guys, for this. I mean, always technical problems will always happen. So, أبو سيمون، بدي أنا أطلع لأنه بجوز أنا وياك على نفس اللينك، لأنه أعطيتك اللينك تبعي بجوز عشان هيك في خلل. أنا هلا بدي أطلع وأشوف إذا بزبط معك. أنا بحكي مع الزملاء معي إذا زبط معك ولا لا. تمام. Yeah.
Yusuf, can you try one more time to speak into the mic?
Do you hear me now?
Woo! Yes.
Yes.
Yes, now we
Finally.
hear you.
Now I hear you also. Oh my God. I don't know what happened, but sometimes we're not expert in technologies. But anyway, good evening.
Thank you,
I don't
Yusuf.
know from where you come from, but here it's evening. So good evening to everyone.
Yeah, good evening. Yusuf, just before you begin, are you able to go onto the Zoom settings and make me and Carla co-host? Since I gave you the host ability.
You gave me your, let me see, participant. Carla and
Okay,
That's
you've
great.
made me the host, so I should be able to make Lily the co-host. Please
okay,
go
good.
ahead with your presentation. Thank you.
All right. Finally. Anyway, first of all, welcome. And I would like to introduce myself. I don't know if Lily did because I couldn't hear. Did you introduce me?
We had a short bio for you, but please introduce yourself again.
Very
Yes, we'd be
short,
glad to
last
hear.
minute.
Yes.
All right. So my name is Youssef Aide. I am the president of the Arab Tour Guide Union in Palestine and in East Jerusalem. And our organization, the union, was established in 1965, which means almost 60 years, even before I was born. And, it took care of all the guides for almost 60 years since its establishment in Jerusalem, even at the time of Jordan, because we're talking about the period before the Six-Day War in 1965, where it was established in Jerusalem, even though the capital was Amman. But because of the importance of Jerusalem, it was established in Jerusalem. Since that time, it's always operating, no matter what's the circumstances and the situation, wars or intifada or anything, but it always, let's say, participated in the life of the tour guides in the Holy Land. And we have almost 500 members, 250 from East Jerusalem with Israeli tour guide license, because we carry the Israeli ID card, and 250 from the West Bank, Palestinian, carrying the Palestinian guiding permit. And so total of 500. Most of them are working, active, and at least I can assure you that the last 4 years, since 2020, with the COVID issue, we almost stayed at home for 2 years. Then we returned back to work around, let's say, end of 2022 and 23, let's say almost around 1 year from the end of the pandemic till the war, it's around 1 year. So we stayed home for over 2 years, then worked for 1 year, and then since October 7, everybody is at home, no work at all. Not only us, we know that we have hotels, we have bus companies, and so on. But the guides union and their members is the most vulnerable sector of tourism, because it's a personal thing. And for that reason, we have many who suffer because of lack of tourism and so on since October 7. So we thought that during the year before, by the end of the pandemic until the October of 2023, most of us returned to work because we had really a good year, not perfect like before the pandemic, but at least most of the guides had opportunity to work during that period. And since October 7, everything stopped completely. And I can tell you by experience, during the beginning of the war on the 7th of October, I had a group from Canada, and we did our best in order to make it happen so they can leave the country, because they were so afraid and the airport shut down. So we had to, do all our possible interference in order to get them out. Even the bridge was closed to cross into Jordan. We had to wait for 2 days until they were allowed to go out. But that experience, actually, most of the people were afraid. I know that nobody traveled at the time of war, but at least we had some few groups that came for not pilgrimage or tourism, but for other reasons, like fact-finding, checking the situation, how it's going on, influencers. I had a chance to work with a group supported by Sabil organization, take them around in Jerusalem. And they were from different countries, some from the US, from Canada, and other places. And that was a real opportunity for us, at least, to see some of the influencers and try to tell them our part of what's happening. And I hope that things will calm down, especially the acceleration of the situation is going on and on. So we don't know what's gonna happen. We sleep at night with some optimistic point, and then in the morning we wake up and we see that everything changed. So even though we even stopped trying to think what will happen tomorrow because of what's going on. So at least during this time, few groups came trying to learn more about the situation. And believe me, from the people that I met after the war, they now all are interested in politics and what's going on. This wasn't before. People mainly came. Most of the tourists that come to the Holy Land, like 90%, are pilgrims. Their main interest is visiting holy places. And around 10% with other interests like ecological issues, hiking, and things like that. But most of, because this is the Holy Land, so most of those who come for a certain reason, which is a pilgrimage. Pilgrimage is the main tourism destination of the world is the Holy Land. So for that reason, the interest now is a little bit changed. And believe me, more questions are asked. People started understanding what's going on. Some people before, they were not even interested in hearing the story of Palestinian people, Christian community in the Holy Land and things like that. Now, no, I receive like almost daily messages from friends all over the world that were here, and I was their guide. And they are checking what's going on about us and the situation. And I spent like 1 hour every day trying to answer all the questions that I receive. So I think what's going on right now is completely different than before. And people started understanding and learning more about the issue of the Palestinian people and of also the Christian community, because nobody knew that there is Christians even living in Gaza. And nobody knew that 3 churches were destroyed in Gaza. Nobody knew that 28 or 29 Christians were killed during the war since the beginning, at least at the beginning of that. So this opened the mind of the people all over the world to learn about the situation in the Holy Land. I hope this is a small introduction. And if anybody would like to ask any questions, so we can answer them.
So we had one question, which was what is the name of your touring company?
It's not a touring company, but it's the union, the union. Arab Tour Guide Union. That's the name. ATGU is the abbreviation. Arab Tour Guide Union. I think you have the logo on the front page. That was established almost 60 years ago.
Okay, other
most
questions,
of the guides,
people,
by the way,
feel free.
Yes, most of the guides in the Holy Land are freelancers. So we work with everybody. We work with all the travel agents, with all the tour operators. So it's easy even to pick and choose. So there is no problem in picking and choosing any guide you want. We have on our website names of guides, the languages that they speak, the experience that they have, how many years, and things like that.
Hello, how are you? I have 2.
Okay.
Is it $20?
Judith, can you mute yourself, please? Thank you. So somebody has asked, are you able to work independently from Israeli guides and authorities? Do you have the ability to pick and choose as you wish, or are you constrained by the government?
No. That's what I started talking about, that half of our members are considered guides with Israeli ID card and Israeli license from the Israeli Ministry of Tourism. So for that reason, half of our members can go anywhere, can work with anybody. There is no restrictions at all on their work. And the other half, which is around 250 Palestinian guides with Palestinian ID card that live in different cities in the West Bank, like Bethlehem, Jericho, Nablus, Hebron, Jenin, and other cities. Now, there is only 50 of them that have a permit from the Israeli authorities allowing them to cross the border and work in Israel. So we have 250 Palestinian with Israeli ID card from East Jerusalem. And then we have around 50 Palestinian guides with Palestinian ID card and Palestinian license, but with a permit allowing them to work in Israel. So that's the situation concerning our members. And the other 200 are working locally. I mean, sometimes we help them. So when we go to Bethlehem, for example, I always call a friend, a guide, and allow him to take the group inside the church and explain there so he can earn some money rather than looking for another job. So it's actually the tour guides themselves that are supporting their colleagues on the other side. So that's what we always try to do.
So there's collaboration between the guides.
Of course, yes.
Yes. And someone has asked, are the guides are they allowed to tell about the real situation in Palestine?
Now, as long as our story or our explanation does not harm anyone personally, I mean, insulting someone or trying, so because you can open easily the internet and find all the answers. But from our point of view, I don't think there is problem in telling the people what is going on without going into the personal level. I think that will be possible or easy to do. But I don't know after the war what will happen, if there will be any restriction. Till now, we don't know about that.
There's some concern about how is easy or difficult is it for travelers to come to Israel and Palestine, to the West Bank, especially if folks have been active on social media advocating for Palestinian perspectives. Should they anticipate having difficulty entering the country?
Now, there is a new thing in Israel, but it's not yet been implemented, but it will be in about 2 months, that anybody who is going to come to Israel, they have to fill information on what is called the ETA. It's not electronic visa, but it's just filling information. And this is new. They will start implementing this in about beginning of August, I know. But they started at the beginning of June with 3 countries. Germany is one, and Spain, I think, and the US. But I think that will be like an obstacle in the future. But we don't know yet how it will work. Let's wait till it really happens. But crossing the borders, I think like the influencers that we got, they came through the airport and nobody stopped them. They came easily into Israel, and we toured around in Bethlehem, Ramallah, Jerusalem, and other places.
Is it currently safe to travel to the West Bank? Can people travel right now?
Yes. At the beginning, there was lots of obstacles like checkpoints all over. Now it's much easier. Not yet as easy as used to be, but at least we manage. We know which road to use, where is the checkpoint, so we try to avoid things like that. But I think there is no problem right now. They can come and safe tour guides with the help of the bus companies. We tour around, we go to all the places like Bethlehem, Jericho, Jerusalem, Galilee. Galilee, not everywhere, but like Nazareth and Tiberias, it's safe for the moment, yes.
Can you speak a little bit more about the challenges of the checkpoints and do the settlers become a problem also? Do they interfere with your work traveling around?
First of all, we always use buses with Israeli plates, so that's easy to cross checkpoints in and out, so there is no problem for that. We can tour around everywhere, except, for example, on certain days, if there is a closure over a certain town or so, and we cannot cross, then either we change the program or we postpone it to another day or so. But for the moment, I think we have access to most, I don't want to say all, but most of the cities in the Palestinian territories. The major
so you are
one,
flexible and you make do.
We can, yeah. We always have connections. We call before we go in case we're going like Hebron or Nablus or so on. We call ahead of time to make sure that everything is calm and quiet so we can cross easily. But major cities that we go to, like Bethlehem, Jericho, Ramallah, they are all safe. We cross almost like on daily basis.
And how are the tour guides themselves? How are they being affected by the economic drought right now with fewer groups to come in and no work? Are they finding other jobs? Are they needing to leave? Can you speak a bit about that?
Yes, that's a very big issue. As some guides, because of lack of tourism, they started looking for another job. If they have a family and they need to support their family and so on, and they have commitment that they need to do so. That's what we are afraid of at the Guides Union, that in case they get a good job in the future, when tourism come back, we lose that person because he's going to say, no, I'm not going to go back to that old job that is not safe to keep working at, and they decide to get stuck with a new job that they find. So that's an issue that we are afraid of. Yes, you are right. And many that I already know, they already started new jobs at other places, and I don't know what will happen next year if tourism come back big numbers. So then we will have a problem that we will not have enough guides to do the job. Now we are almost tight. I mean, the high season, sometimes you don't even find a guide for some late groups that they book late. Sometimes we have difficulties in finding guides for them. But in the future, if some of the guides decide to leave this profession and do something else, then we have a problem.
And this is the guides are well trained, and is there a certification process?
Of course,
not anyone can just become a guide out of the blue, right?
No,
There's
no,
a
no, no,
process.
no, no. First of all, a minimum of high school certificate, and then those who are preferred, those who have college certificate, like a BA or something like that, also they are preferred. Then those who speak languages, rare and languages, they are also preferred. But all have to go through a course of 2 years, 2 years learning, and then at the end they will do exams run by the state, and if they pass the exams, 2 exams, one written, one oral, and then if they pass both, they will get the license and start working. But either in Israel or in the Palestinian territories, almost same regulation. But everybody has to go through the course. Nobody is exempted.
So guides cannot be quickly generated, or they don't come out of nowhere. There's a long process.
Of course. Yeah. And not every day there is a new course. They do one every 2 years. So every 2 years there will be a group of people, like 40 or so on. And if they all pass, there will be 40. For example, I can tell you about my experience. Since 1967, Israel did not allow any Palestinian from East Jerusalem to obtain a license. Only after putting lots of pressure in 1997, we were able to get permission from the government to open the first course for Palestinians from East Jerusalem. And we were 45 for 2 years. And when we made the exams, only 17 passed. And I can tell you that almost 25 to 30% that were able to pass. The rest had to wait for the next year, for the next exam, and so on, or some people lost hope and they decided to quit. But I can tell you from our first experience, only 25 to 30% that passed the exams. It's so difficult. It's not an easy course, no. In 2 years, we had to learn 17 different subjects and do exams in all of them.
Wow, so and there's of course, a lot to know.
Yes, it's not an easy thing. It's not like getting a driving license in a couple of months and then you're done. No, this is a long procedures and very hard. And I'm telling you from my experience, I used to work and finish job at 5 and drive to the school because the course begins at 5:30 p.m. studying till 10 p.m. every day. Imagine. So working and studying at the same time. So that was really a challenging thing. It's not easy. So that's why we don't want to lose some of our experts into looking for another job. If the situation will continue for another year, then that's really something that we are afraid of.
We have someone looking for your opinion or advice. She's coordinating a tour of the olive harvest in October, and she's wondering, as she's trying to create a promotional flyer with tourism as the focus, she wants to still be sensitive to the suffering in Gaza. What words can she use to promote tourism while staying respectful of the suffering that's happening? And of course, promoting tourism to support the need for economic activity in the West Bank.
You know, in the West Bank, it's I don't want to say it's different than what's going on in Gaza, because now the war is in Gaza. But don't forget that the last 50 years, the West Bank suffered a lot. Most of the people abroad, they did not hear, or rarely they hear some news here or there. But the West Bank is also under pressure. Not like what's going on in Gaza. Nobody says that, but we still have lots of issues, like what you mentioned earlier about the settlers now trying to attack some of the villages, burn their trees and things like that. So this all accelerated, especially since the beginning of the war. The government registered over 1,500 attacks for the last 8 months, which means like we're talking about 5 attacks per day. in different parts of the West Bank.
So that's an important perspective to consider when thinking
course,
about how to talk about.
I mean, things like that, let's keep it to be explained while they are here and see in their eyes and learn more live. I mean, instead of trying to give information before it happened. So sometimes it may, how we say it, allow some people to drop off or to encourage others and so on. I don't know how to look at it, but I prefer when they come so they can see in their eyes and hear the stories from either the guide or the people that they meet or so on. That's an experience. Need the people to come here. It's not enough to hear it or know or read about it, but they need to come and have the experience.
Well, maybe that is maybe that's where we close off this question period with your invitation that we should come, right? Could you?
Yes,
I'll
yes.
open the floor for you to officially invite us to come.
You are all invited. You don't need an invitation. You are always welcome, and we always welcome people to come. And the Palestinian people is hospitable people. They are very nice with I don't want to say foreigners, but for Europeans or Canadians or American even, and there is no problem with that. There is no problem, and you are always welcome, and we will do our best to show you around and explain everything that you need to know about and answer all your questions.
Well, thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you for your time and thank you for your work. Is there any last comments you'd like to leave with us before we move on to our action?
Important for us that we feel that people abroad are thinking of what's going on and praying for the people that are suffering. And thank you for that. And keep your goodwill and good heart and your support to the Holy Land. Thank you all for that.
Well, thank you again so much for joining us today, Youssef. As a group, we will now return to our action time, where we participate and discuss global actions for Palestine. Youssef, you are welcome to stay with us, but we understand if you need to go as well. So I'll turn it back to Lily to finish up with the actions we began earlier in the session.
Thank you, Carla. Thank you again, Youssef, for sharing your time and experience with us. We finished going through all of the actions, but we have about 3 to 4 minutes left. If anyone wants to unmute themselves and quickly share about any actions or organizing that they've been involved with in their communities, feel free to raise your hand and do so for the next 5 minutes before we wrap up today. And as Carla has just shared in the chat, we are continuing just the world actions, generally encouraging everyone, wherever you are, to continue contacting your representatives. We all know if we've been following the headlines that the Security Council has passed a resolution for a ceasefire. And so now it's a matter of all the political power pushed to implement this. But there were still military operations in Gaza today. So there is definitely still calls to be made and letters to be written, and the creative things that we know each of you are doing in your own communities. So unless anyone wants to quickly share something in the chat or with us all, I'm just gonna turn it back over to Carla to wrap it up, and then we'll share the information for how you can access this recording after the session.
Okay, well, thank you everyone for participating. As usual, you can always find the action information in the newsletter or on the website at kuminow/action. So if you couldn't quite keep up in this session, or if you want to pass it along to your friends and encourage them to also sign these actions, kuminow.com/action. Thank you everyone for joining. A video of this gathering along with the links will also be available on the Kumi Now website and on YouTube, and will be shared in the next newsletter. You can subscribe to Kumi Now on YouTube and subscribe to our newsletter to make sure you continue to receive these actions, and of course invite your friends to also sign up. Next week, our session will focus on Palestinian refugees. So as always, please share the news and invite those who would like to learn more to join us next week and watch the videos online. Lily, do we have anything further to highlight? Okay, well then we thank you all for joining us and have a wonderful week.